Thank you for downloading This Month in Drinking History, a comedy drinking game show where comedians compete to avoid picking up the bar tab. Just so you know, we do drink during these recordings, so as with every good pub conversation, some information will be inaccurate, facts can become distorted, and lies may be told, so grab your drink and join us.
This month in drinking history. Ha 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 ha.
Hello and welcome to This Month in Drinking History, a drink-along comedy podcast. So we've got a full cast here today. Eliott's on board as well. Hello, Eliott.
Hello.
Hello. The pub landlord is in. So we'll start as we always do with who drink our cheers. Thomas.
Hello. I am Thomas Craven, Welshman, comedian, and cold man. Today is quite cold. And my cheers this week is Yamas, the Greek for cheers. And what I'm drinking this week is Doomba, which is pretty much an old man drink, but it's in recognition of my dad coming down. So cheers, old man.
Right. So John, who drink our cheers?
Okay, so I wasn't sent the show format before, so if you could explain what I meant to be doing.
You are supposed to tell us a bit about yourself.
A bit about myself. Hi, my name is John. I'm a Scottish guy, a comedian, and I'm also cold. I am not drinking this evening purely based on the fact I was drinking heavily last evening. So that's why I thought 2 nights in a row, that's an issue.
Amateur.
Yeah. So and then I have to say something that's cheers.
Cheers. Any cheers you like.
Well, Yamas is a good one. Sometimes followed up by Yamas Esigia, which I think means
have you got gear?
Get it done you. Just swallow it. Just swallow it, don't you? I'm you know me, I'm a simple man. I just would probably go cheers.
So, actually, no one's ever done that yet, so well done.
With as much emotion as that as well, to just go cheers.
As the emotion that a guy for the west coast of Scotland can muster.
Yeah, that's pretty much like, I mean, that me saying cheers could be soundtracked by Endless Love with Lionel Richie. That's that kind of emotion that's running through it.
I'm feeling it, man.
And if I say another thing,
no, that's it.
That was me.
That's you
Cool.
have fulfilled your contractual
Thanks
obligation for that first round. Thank you, John.
oh,
Thank you, Eliott. So, Paul.
Hello, I'm Paul McDaniel. I am a Northern Irish man living in Glasgow, comedian. I am drinking. I'm not drinking alcohol either because I'm boring, and but I'm drinking Coke Zero, which you've very nicely bought for me. A nice big bottle of Coke Zero. I do drink a lot of Coke Zero. There's no interesting fact there, but I'm sort of trying not to drink too much, but it's difficult, isn't it, in life? My cheers, I was gonna do cheers big ears, but that's quite a childish one, and I don't think anyone's really used it since primary school. So I think I might go for Chin Chin. I don't know if that's been used already.
No, Chin Chin's a good
because
one.
That's the one that is used throughout the film With Neil and I. Richard E. Grant's character with Neil uses Chin Chin throughout that. So I think he's the best movie drunk of all time. So, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let's move on to the first round. So we'll start with this month's reason for drinking. So we'll go straight to Thomas. And Thomas, can you give us this month's reason for drinking?
Hello. Yes, my reason for drinking this month is because I think, as I called back to earlier, being a cold man, the weather today is somewhere between brisk to Baltic, because it was -4 today in Glasgow when I checked.
Really?
T-shirt weather.
T-shirt weather, exactly.
I thought you said.
I
I thought you said Taoiseach weather, which is like the Irish.
The Irish Prime Minister.
Yeah, Taoiseach. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
cold
him
you
now.
become.
He only comes out at -4.
Yeah.
He's like the Grinch.
I don't even know the name of the Taoiseach now. It used to be.
See the Polish? He's Polish descent.
Yeah.
Gay man.
Yeah. That's him. Lovely guy.
So there you go. I'm just drinking to warm my cockles, if you will. And that's probably an expression no one fucking uses at all.
Well, you are drinking old man beer, so
I am,
you may as well
exactly.
have old man expressions. So we'll move on. John, what's your this month's reason for drinking?
My excuse for drinking would probably just be the state of the world. in general. There's a lot of horrible shit happening.
Comedy podcast.
I know that this week, the date. What's the date today? It's the
19th.
The 19th,
18th, sorry.
18th of November. And yesterday I watched the interview with Prince Andrew. Which again, an ideal start for a comedy podcast.
No.
But I did find myself getting so fucking angry, just going, "You dirty lying bastard." I know I might get done for libel and I might die in a tunnel.
Oh, no, that's
right,
that's opinion.
Yeah, we
That's
say
fine, that's opinion.
everything is alleged unless proved
He doesn't
later.
sweat. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Who doesn't fucking sweat?
Reptiles, apparently.
There's
yeah.
actual
Yeah.
pictures of the man sweating.
Sweating.
That is the worst.
Well, the thing is, he said he didn't sweat during the periods of time that he was accused of being a paedophile. So that, which is he can sweat now, like
I mean, I
just
think,
he couldn't sweat then.
I mean,
He doesn't build up a sweat during the act of being a paedophile, allegedly.
I'd imagine if there was a game of paedophile talk trumps,
Yeah,
sweating
yeah.
would be a good. If you had him, you'd win every time.
Someone needs to make
Sweat-
that pack.
Sweat level.
Can we?
Sweat level pedo.
I have
Yeah.
already seen a comedian do material about that interview last
Wow.
night. Mark Nelson did some comedy. It was very good. Right in there,
No fucking about.
topical.
Tell you what,
Um,
pedo top trumps though. That's
yeah.
the number one Christmas gift this year, I think. You know,
It's just that there's just so
I
much.
bet the
from-
BBC make it.
Savil's got to be the god tier. Like he's
Yeah.
coming to fucking wreck everyone, right?
Well, see, if you have watched it, there's the fact that he's able to recall going to a Pizza Express.
That is the weirdest
in-
part
in
of the whole
Woking,
thing, isn't it?
right? And it's the only time he's ever went to a Pizza Express, and that's why he specifically remembers going to that Pizza Express. Yet cannot seem to remember some other really quite basic things.
Yeah.
So he's
about
like-
more bigger life events.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
going to an island.
But yeah. You can-
Epstein's Island, he
Yeah.
flew there on, I believe the plane was called Lolita.
Didn't you know that?
Yeah,
That's Epstein's
pedo plane.
plane. Was
Is that
called
true?
Lolita,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
It was such a blatantly going, I don't care, I'm too big. He made his money by blackmailing people, taking to the island, basically doing the thing, and he thought he was untouchable. And then,
The other thing with the whole Epstein thing is I've fell out with quite a lot of people over the years because I'm a man of a strong moral compass. And if I think that somebody's an arsehole, then I just go, fuck you, and I don't talk to them anymore. But I've never ever felt the need to go and visit them at their home for 4 days
Yeah.
and go for a walk in the park.
because he's honourable.
What about people that have been to Pizza Express? Do you write them off?
Pizza Express is alright. I've never visited the Woking branch.
No.
Do you think that's going to get a blue plaque outside it now?
The
Anyway.
one I did see on Saturday night when it get broadcast, I don't know if you've seen the tweet that Pizza Express put up, but it was like a picture of a laptop, and it was like 9 p.m. switch off laptop, 10 p.m. 200 WhatsApp messages saying check your phone. Yeah, so yeah, I think just generally things like of that nature. Boris Johnson, sorry, I tried to jazz him up a bit there. All that stuff, it just makes me a bit sad.
And that's why you're drinking.
So that's
That
why
was
I
quite
d-
a journey, John. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sorry, I know that's again comedy podcast. You weren't maybe expecting such hard hitting topical subjects.
It's alright. I've got the gin. I don't care. So we'll move on.
So what hopefully you're going to line up a bit now, Paul.
Not
Paul, what's your
really.
this month's reason for drinking?
Well, my reason, it would be three reasons, a three-pronged reason. First, for reasons of stress due to having to compare, which I'm new to comparing, so I had to compare a gig, and the audience interaction was difficult. I don't.
Is this Red Raw?
It was, yeah.
Because I saw your name on
I
the
saw
list
that.
for
The
Red
re-
Raw, and I
yeah,
thought,
yeah.
Paul McDaniel
Yeah.
is an MC. And don't take that the wrong way.
No. I've recently started doing it. So I've done it about 4 times, and Red Raw was the 5th time. So, it's probably maybe too soon for me to do it, Red Raw. But I think the audience chat at the start, maybe just you had to do 5 minutes at the start, and then just 5 minutes in the second bit. So the 5 minutes in the second bit was okay, but the 5 minutes at the start, I maybe struggled with chatting to the audience. So I ended up drinking quite a lot, so to get through the night. But I think it was okay. I think everyone starts somewhere. I sort of chatted a wee bit to the audience, but I think comparing and hosting is just a different different animal.
Mhm.
So
I mean, we're
you've
talking,
compared quite a
he's-
lot. You compared a gig I did recently in Falkirk, was it? It was Bill Dewar was on, Tyrion Boyd.
Robert Burns' birthplace.
That's it. Yes.
What do you call it? It's
Right.
going to bug me.
Quick, Eliott, look it up.
Quick
Um,
Englishman.
Alloway.
Right.
So it was at the
Yeah.
Robert Burns Museum.
Don't worry, we'll edit it. It'll make it look like you just said it bang on.
No, it was just such a memorable gig. That's why I
It was
remembered so
great.
much about everything about it.
Yeah.
It was actually a good gig.
It was good. It ended
Uh-huh.
up okay.
But I always just find MCing, just try and talk to people
Yeah.
and just make them feel at ease. Because if you make them feel at ease, then they're more likely to laugh.
Yeah.
And that's, again, that's not meant to be a slant against you,
Mhm.
but I didn't think that you would have MC'd because sometimes you've got quite an awkward way about you on stage.
Yeah.
But that is your
yeah.
persona.
Yeah, well, I think it's the worry about audience interaction and chatting to the audience. You sort of worry that it's going to just go nowhere, and you kind of have to rely on it and just go, fuck it, just ask people stuff and see where it goes, and hopefully it'll be funny, and, oh
But
dear.
also quite
Yeah.
So what was number
sorry,
two?
Paul.
Well, the two reasons, but I think it probably was better. It went better than I think. I was just, it was a bit. I felt tough. But the second reason would also be, I went to a gig, a music gig, Lightning Bolt. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're like a two-piece band. The drummer wears like a ski mask with a microphone stuck to his face. They're very loud and noisy, and I was in the mosh pit. So I don't know if you can imagine me in the mosh pit. It's quite weird.
What, you lost?
No, but I was a bit scared. But I thought my friend Nev, who's also a comedian, shout out to Nev. He went in to sort of. I think we were sort of reliving our youth, and I went, oh fuck it, I'll go into. And so yeah, after it, I needed a drink. I felt like yeah, I'll just have a drink. So the third reason would be coming second in Scottish Comedian of the Year. Not for negative reasons. I think it was just there was a lot of free drink backstage.
Nice.
So
Well, you certainly earned it.
I had a lot of Haribo. The Haribo was better. It was more enjoyable. But yeah, those are my reasons.
They're good reasons. We'll move on. So we'll move on to round two, and this is the make an Alco ad round. So we'll go first with Thomas. Thomas, can you give us this month's Alco ad?
Yes, I can indeed. Don't know if anyone remembers the Judderman advert. You guys remember that?
I
Yeah.
do, yes.
Yeah.
Smirnoff, was it Smirnoff Ice or something?
It was Mets, which I never tried, but it was like an alco pop, I think. You know, like the Beware the Judderman, my dear.
It's scary as fuck.
It was. Shipped me up in the 90s as a child seeing that, and I really wanted hooch, but I wasn't allowed it because I'd be a mad alky by now. So my advert is based on that. So I'm just thinking like a haunted backdrop, a sort of fucking creepy marionette thing of a Ned, and the narrator just goes, "Beware the Jakey shakes." And that's pretty much it. That's what I'm going with.
That's like an ad against alcohol. I'm like,
It is, exactly. We try and perpetuate a message here, which is fucking drink responsibly. Don't get the fucking shakes from drinking too much like a mad bastard.
You could get JK from Jamiroquai.
JK,
shakes.
he does shake.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
married.
It's quite a mover.
Yeah, I was thinking a
Does he?
Jamiroquai level moves on a Ned puppet.
So we'll move on then. That's a good one, Thomas. We'll go.
Cool.
So, John, what is your advert for alcohol?
Okay, you set the scene. Man, regular guy, just walks in a bar, and he says pint of lager, and he says what kind of lager do you want? And the guy says you can have Carlin or you can have Foster's, and he'll say I'll just take a Foster's, and then he'll just come up at the end Foster's. At least it's better than Carlin. It's like the two shittest lagers you
Yeah,
get in
it
pubs.
really is.
And if you had the choice between Foster's or Carlin, Carlin is very gassy, I find, and it tastes like shit. Whereas Foster's is kind of tastes a wee bit like shit, but it's not too gassy.
I'm liking it. It's probably a lawsuit, but I'm.
Yeah, I mean,
Well-
he's not wrong.
Listen, the people for Carlin can come at me.
Send them.
Still not going to drink their product.
That's it. Fuck 'em.
I'm a strong advocate against Carlin lager. It's horrible.
That's something I can
I
get
don't-
behind.
I
That's a
just-
protest I want to see in the
It's
streets.
just really no nice.
I think
Um,
the worst lager I think is Joker. Is that a lager?
Is that not an
Joe
IPA?
Craig, yeah.
Is that an IPA?
Yeah,
Right.
I
That's
sure-
awful.
I mean, I'm sorry, but surely Tennent's has got to get a lock in
See,
one of the words.
I like
I'm
Tennent's.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. Hey, hey.
No.
I like
No.
Tennent's. I like
I will
it.
put
Sorry.
you down.
Put you
Let's
down.
roll that
You're
back.
a big man, but you're out of shape.
Yeah.
Do not ever speak badly of Tennent's.
Tennent's was my first sort of drink.
Tenants is
grew
just
up
you know
drinking it.
exactly what you're getting.
Yeah, shite.
Yeah,
No,
I've said
it's
it's
alright,
very
it's
much the strongbow of lager.
It's just
Isn't
decent.
it?
And I mean, if there was West there, then obviously you're going to take a West. But
of
if
course,
there's a
yeah.
Tenants and there's nothing else, you go, I know exactly what I'm getting here.
I think Thomas struck a chord there with Johnny. Like, whoa, you're
I
just
mean,
made the hate list.
the only Welsh beer I can think of is Brains,
Brains.
and that is fucking
Ah,
awful.
I've had Brains,
I'll come out and
yeah.
just say, fuck Brains, it's bad beer. So there you go. You
I
do it
lived in
first.
Wales for a year, so I drank Brains.
Oh, yeah,
I
You,
it's a
how
revolution.
come you sound like a zombie when you say that?
I drank Brains.
I drank
Yes.
Brains. Said more Brains. Sorry. Yeah.
I think with me, I just drink lager. I don't really mess about. I occasionally have spirits, but I don't drink any beer or IPA or anything. So I consider myself a connoisseur
Or
of
basic bro.
lagers. But Tennent's is kind of like the equivalent of, I don't know, Domino's.
I see, right.
I mean, you know, it's no the best pizza in the world,
Yeah.
but you know exactly what you're
Solid.
gonna get. It's
Solid choice.
Aye.
Would you care to do a top 5 choice of lagers, being the
Oh,
connoisseur? I mean,
okay.
sorry to put you on the spot, but
That's okay.
I would like to hear John
Uh,
Gavin's top
My
5.
favourite at the moment
Wait
is.
a minute. Give us some music for this one, Eliott.
Okay.
John Gavin's top 5 drink tips.
But if I had to go for a 5, I'd probably put Tennent's in at number 5.
And number 5.
Tennent's at number 5 is a solid performer, mid-table, no fucking about.
Number 4.
Number 4, I'd probably put St Mungo.
Good choice.
I like it.
I
Yeah,
like St Mungo. It's a nice cracking pint.
Number 3.
Asahi. It's a Japanese lager. It's very, very crisp. When it's nice and cold, it's so refreshing. It just goes down like water. It's just delicious.
Number 2.
Number 2, I would probably put. Probably some people would sneer at it, but I do like a San Miguel. It's just San Miguel and it's nice and chilled. Lovely, lovely, lovely beer. Or no, in fact, fuck that. Fuck San Miguel. Estrella Damm. I go for Estrella Damm.
Jilted at the last minute.
Yeah.
that.
And
Estrella Damm's
and John Gavin's top.
they've actually got 2 entries in the top 5, but West again. West, I think they call it West Veer, as in 4. It's kind of like St Mungo, but it's just a 4%er. And when you think St Mungo is a really cracking pint, and then you try a 4, and then you're like, why was I fucking about with that St Mungo? It's just so nice.
There you go.
You don't really get that much of a hangover with it or anything. It's just dead clean, crisp.
You hear that,
Delicious.
girls and boys? If you're not laughing, you're learning. That's it. It's-
But the thing, actually, the other week there, I did a gig in the Archies, and I ended up talking to the guy who they've got a brewery in the Archies in Glasgow, and it's Innocent Gun, and this guy was like the sort of chief brewer, and I just kept on saying to him, I wouldn't drink your stuff. It was like, give me a pint of West. And he was trying to get me to drink IPAs and stuff, and I said, mate, that's wasted on me.
Where do you
That's
stand
nonsense.
on Cowboy Lager, the stand
The
lager?
Cowboy Lager's alright,
I quite like it.
but if there was Tennent's there, would you pick the Tennent's or the Cowboy?
It's a difficult one. I probably mix and match. Like
About
have
half and
one.
half.
No, no, just like one,
No,
and
one
then the
cocktail.
tennis. Yeah.
The Cowboy Lager, if
I
you
do
see
like it.
any pubs that have got their own like lager, most of the time it's
bad.
Bellhaven.
Oh
it's
right.
It's a Bellhaven
really?
lager, and they just
Oh.
put a wee sticker on the pump,
Right.
because the Beehive in Edinburgh's got like Beehive Lager.
yes, used to have its own
Yes,
as well.
the
That
yes
was a
lager,
ballad.
and God rest
What's
its
the
soul.
stand have?
It's the
Cowboy-
lager I
Cowboy
really
Oh,
Lager.
don't.
that is Cowboy.
The lager I really don't like is Blue Moon. Is that a lager?
Yeah, but
Really,
they serve with a
it's got
piece
like
of
an orange taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't like it.
I would,
Mm.
No.
one of my
That
favourite.
offends me as a Scotsman. Just gonna go like, why are you adding fruit to this drink?
I feel a wee bit like that
Yeah.
when.
Oh, the
You're like, give me the scurvy.
We'll move on with
Yeah.
Paul. Paul, what is your alco ad for this month?
Well, mine's not going to be alcohol. It's going to be alcohol, and it's basically the drink is going to be. I'll hold out my arm, and you can bite into it and drink whatever alcohol's in there. So it's probably not. It doesn't sound great, but I will work hard. Yeah.
An alky vampire.
Yeah.
Do you want people to bite your arm?
Yeah. Well, not just
Don't
me.
use shuts,
Anyone.
don't use
Anyone.
slut shame. That's
just-
the kink
you
shaming in
alright?
here. We're not
No.
having
Well, like
Do you
no,
need
but
a cuddle?
I have to allow it. And I won't allow it. I won't. So
Paul,
no
Paul
one's
keeps it
getting
consensual.
Yeah, but it's just the notion is there. But it's going to be any Pauls, not just me. So Paul McCartney, Paul Weller.
grab life by the balls.
Yeah,
That's what you want.
it. That's the tagline. I was just about to say that.
Are you sorry?
No.
Think of the famous Pauls.
Paul Simon,
Paul Simon.
Paul Whitehouse.
Paul Whitehouse. It's all old middle-aged men, and me.
You
I'm
reckon
getting.
they
I'm
would
getting
taste
there.
better?
Yeah, I think Paul
What about Sean
McCartney.
Paul.
Is he?
He's
Paul.
a
Paul.
bit more of a rum, surely.
Is he? Is Sean Paul a dance person?
He's like Chandra
Dance,
Bar.
dance
Ah,
music.
right. Paul Oakenfold. It's all old men.
Think of the
isn't
Sean
it?
Paul.
So thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
I think we'll move
That
on
was
to
a
the
winner.
next round.
I don't eat.
So we're going into round 3. This is the Alco Facts of History. So, Thomas, can you tell us your Alco Fact of History?
I can indeed. My alco fact is in 1931, the first breathalyzer device was created by Roller Neil Hagen. Yeah, I probably said that right, actually, because his name's that fucking weird. And he called it the Drunkometer. This is a real thing. He named it as a joke, and then it actually stuck as a thing. And that was so he invented the first breathalyzer, essentially. And what they did, because they had such a high mortality rate from drunk driving, was that people would breathe into a balloon, and that would go through a acidified potassium permanganate solution. There you go. I even put that in a fucking phonetic way for me to say at this point in the show. Thanks, me. And I'll tell you what, if there was alcohol in your breath sample, the solution changed colour. And
I demand that test if I'm driving. I want that one.
Exactly.
Bring forth the drunkometer. I demand the balloon test, officer.
Fucking breathalyzed in the 30s. You'd be like, every cunt is drunk right now, and you're going after me?
That's a cracking
Currently
fact,
pissing
Thomas.
in.
So, we'll move on then. John, what is your Alco Fact of History?
Well, continuing my theme of lager, my fact is we all know the drink Tennant Super. Tennant Super is the first time I was ever drunk was on a can of Tennant Super. 14 years old, me and my mate managed to get 2 cans of Tennant Super. We drank it, and then I broke his pool table because I don't know if you remember as a kid, it used to be like you'd have a mate, you'd have a pool table, but your bedroom wasn't big enough for the pool table, so you had to like stand on the bed and to take shots and stuff.
Right.
And I was kind of standing on his bed, and I fell
Straight through it.
landed right in the pool table. And but Tennant Super obviously it's got that reputation. But if you go to Italy, Tennant Super is like a delicacy. It's really,
Wow.
genuinely like people buy T-shirts with Tennant Super on it.
That's
as a
tremendous.
mark of quality. I swear to God,
It's like, I'm a good person.
It's like almost like a kind of brandy level of, oh, this is such a fine product. What they do though in Italy is they treat it almost like a liqueur. So they just sip it. So you would get like 1 bottle of it and you would just sip it with your dinner. Whereas obviously in Scotland you buy 4 cans and piss yourself. But if you go to Italy, they sell it in like quite high class restaurants and all that sort of stuff.
That's just the power of advertising, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is brilliant.
Well, it's the only reason we did the Tennant's Brewery tour and they told us about it, and I'd heard about it anyway, and I've read up about it as well. But yeah, it's like they sell it as this quite high end kind of product. I'd imagine it'd be the equivalent to like a kind of maybe not a champagne, but like a fine wine kind of thing. So yeah,
There you go. That's nuts.
that's my wee fact about lager.
It's so weird the way brands, products get appropriated in different ways. That I mean, Buckfast isn't like the other way. Sort of got it's drunk by
It's meant to be a tonic.
Yeah,
I meant to
yeah.
only just have a wee
A snifter,
shot.
a
Aye.
shot.
Yeah.
Is it Carlsberg make a super as well? Is it? Because I'm pretty sure, is it or Carling? Or
I've ended up looking into these kind of things before.
Yeah.
Because I think I tried to write material about it, but I'm sure it was. I think it's Special Brew.
Yes.
Was made for. I'm sure it was when Winston Churchill went to. Is it Denmark that Carlsberg's brewed?
Yes.
They brewed it as this fucking special treat for Winston Churchill going to visit. I don't know how I fucking remember this. I honestly just had a flashback to a joke that never worked. But what had happened was Winston Churchill was coming to visit Denmark. We'll possibly need to fact check this, right? But I'm sure it's Special Brew that they made this, and that's why it was called Special Brew. They'd made this special batch of lager, and they tried to make it more fortified because it was for the UK market. And basically, that's what happened. Winston Churchill, the renowned alcoholic and drug addict, then they introduced him to fucking
Special Brew. Yeah.
There's a comedian, I can't remember who it is, he used to do the joke about like, what was the meeting like when they had that? It says, did they just sit down and go, we're just not getting our share of the tramping down and out market. We need to. What can we do? Let's quadruple the strength of the lager. I mean,
my little brother bought me a can of it for my 18th birthday as a joke, and it came in a sort of jaundice colour can, and I think he brought it as a joke. So I drank the whole thing, and I just remember that's the only time I've ever had it, but it tasted more metallic than the actual fucking can that it came in.
Do you know, I've actually just googled it,
Right.
and I was right. It was first brewed in honour of Winston Churchill. It was a Danish. Basically, Churchill was going to visit in 1950, and they wanted to create a lager that incorporated cognac flavours among its tasting notes. And so, yeah.
all of this is available on the Wikipedia page John is
that's-
reading it from right now.
It's actually the BBC.
Oh, it's the
really?
BBC.
It's a reputable source.
John
Is
Gavin,
it?
the connoisseur
Yeah.
of lagers.
Honestly, I've totally forgot I tried to do a joke about that. I
All
think the
right.
premise that I tried to make up was just like bringing alcoholic Winston Churchill to Denmark and then going, here mate, try this. And then just going, fucking yeah. And them just being fucked in Denmark. Wasn't very funny. But yeah,
On that note, we'll go on to Paul.
Just
Paul.
add, it is a 7.5% proof
It's
lager.
a proper
Wow.
kick in the teeth. That is.
Yeah.
So, Paul, what is your alco fact of history?
Mine, I've googled it. It's not from the BBC website, but it was from mentalfloss.com.
Oh, that well-renowned
Yeah.
source of knowledge.
Source of apparently Guinness. It's about Guinness. Guinness created its own superhero in Africa, so they have a superhero. Apparently, as part of an advertising campaign, Guinness created a full-length action film called Critical Assignment that was showed in cinemas across Africa. And the story of the film
Critical assignment. Guinness just means like a guy that's just about to shit his pants
it just
and having to get to the Tesco.
It just sounds like
For toilet
bollocks,
roll.
doesn't it? This sounds like all bullshit. But apparently, the story is about a strong journalist called Michael Power, and he tries to stop a corrupt politician from buying weapons with stolen money. So Power gets all his strength from
Guinness.
yes,
Oh, amazing.
Wow.
drinking Guinness. So I don't know if he becomes Guinness man, like like
It's weird that they've described him though as a strong journalist.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
he like a weightlifter?
I think he's just very good at getting deadlines. I don't know. Maybe he's just very
Grammar is impeccable.
yeah. He's very
So it's never
succinct.
good in Popeye.
Yeah.
Just like a silver
He's-
fox with just fucking white hair.
Yeah, strong
Yeah.
journalist.
Was there not a film I mentioned, Estrella Dam?
Mm.
Is there not a film that came out last? I never looked it up, but I seen the adverts. But it had Peter Dinklage, the guy from Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones,
Yeah.
But they made this film all about Estrella Dam, and it was
All
like
right.
these people visiting, and there was you'd need to look up.
That sounds like a fever dream, to be quite
there
honest.
is,
Yeah.
honestly, it was because I remember the adverts been on at the time, and it was like people like having parties and drinking with like fairy lights outside, and it looked all hipstery and cool. And Peter Dinklage going, "Yeah, it's great to be back," and all that sort of stuff.
Just when we was talking about superheroes, though, because Canada did a series of ones called Captain Alcohol.
Oh really?
That's true, right? It was a series of comic books,
Ah.
and it was designed tell kids about the dangers of drink.
Right.
And he was Captain Alcohol. He's
Ah.
literally the big fucking beer bottle
Really?
on his chest. Yeah, I looked up all this stuff. It's true.
I can confirm there is a film starring Peter Dinklage called La Vida Nuestra, which is set in Notre Dame.
All right.
There you go.
How much useless shit there.
Yeah. I must
That's
have missed
really
that
pulling out your kind of like Rain Man moment. It's
Yeah.
hot water burn, baby.
I do tell people I know a lot of useless shit, but I don't think they believe me until they start talking to me.
I feel like you would fucking destroy any pub quiz.
I'm doing not
another
bad in
country.
pub quizzes. Any
Yeah,
cultural
yeah.
references, I'm not too bad.
I'm very good with years, films.
Flags is one of my ones.
Oh, flags. Yeah.
But that's mostly because of football.
Right.
But my knowledge of geography is based on football as well. Like if you say Danish, like a Danish town, I would know it was a Danish town because I've a team that plays in Denmark.
Oh.
Cool.
Not only Denmark,
There we
other
go.
countries in Europe.
I think we've thoroughly done the alcohol facts. So we'll move on to our next round, and we've got, is it the sober truth or a drunken lie? So Elliott's going to read us two little short stories, and then everyone has to decide what one is which. So Eliott.
Righty-ho, yes, two stories here. One's true, one's a lie. Up to you to decide, to throw out the falsehood, and to taste the tantalizing truth. Your first story is about the origin of the term cocktail, which traces back to the innkeeper, Betsy Flanagan. Now, she was an American whose husband was killed in the American War for Independence, and in 1779 she opened up a bar in Yorktown, which was frequented by American and French soldiers. Nearby to the inn was an Englishman who raised chickens. Probably due to the current political climate, Betsy was none too fond of this neighbour, and she loved to promise her American and French patrons that one day she would serve them a meal of roast chicken. To which her guests would often mock her, claiming that this was all bravado and that she would never carry through with this plan. But one evening, that saw an unusual number of officers gathering at her inn, Betsy invited them all into the living room, where they all were served a grand meal of chicken, freshly acquired from the English neighbour. When the meal was over, Betsy moved her guests to the bar, where she proudly served up a round of brasseur, which is commonly known as the Baltimore brasseur nowadays, a mixture of brandy, anisette, and an egg white. And Betsy had decorated each drink with a tail feather from the recently consumed chickens. To this, the officers would give free cheers to celebrate the defeats of this particular Englishman. "Let's have some more cocktail," one officer would proclaim, to which a French officer would add, "Vive le cocktail," and the drinking continued long into the night. Due to the soldiers spreading word across the globe, it has since become the most popular term to describe the cocktail.
So that's the story. Story number 2, please, Eliott.
Number 2, right. The record for history's largest cocktail belongs to British Lord Admiral Edward Russell. In 1694, he threw an officers' party that employed a garden fountain as the punch bowl. The concoction was a mixture that included 250 gallons of brandy, 125 gallons of Malaga wine, 1,400 pounds of sugar, 2,500 lemons, 20 gallons of lime juice, and 5 pounds of nutmeg. A series of bartenders actually paddled around in small wooden canoes, filling up guests' cups. Not only that, but they had to work in 15-minute shifts to avoid being overcome by the fumes and falling overboard. The party continued non-stop for a full week, pausing only briefly during rainstorms to erect a silk canopy over the punch to keep it from getting watered down. In fact, the festivities didn't end until the fountain had been drunk completely dry.
So there we have it. Is it cocktails or is it punch bowls? Which one is the sober truth and what one is the drunken lie?
The thing I'm just trying to clarify is the second story is that the truth or the lie part is the story that it happened, or is the story that it is the world's largest cocktail?
It's the story, did it happen?
Did it happen? Okay.
But
I was thinking if it had been was that the largest cocktail? I'm like, fucking Roy
Well,
Castle.
it's
Roy Castle would have fucked that.
It would be both. So if this story is true, then it would mean that it's the largest cocktail ever made.
All right. Well, I there you go then. I think Norris McWhirter or Roy Castle would have shot her on the top of that.
I mean,
I
if
can
it-
imagine that in a kids' TV show.
So you go and you're saying cocktails true?
I think the cocktail sounds plausible.
Okay.
Yeah, I think based on the first story, the idea that any sort of English and French people would sit down for any reason probably sounds implausible. You know, based on history. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Mr. Brexit.
I'm just saying that they've got a history, 100 years of which was not the most fucking
This is true.
on board.
In fact, they named it the 100-Year War.
They did indeed. That's what I was referring to. So
And
I don't know, but then the idea of a big garden party where someone was just like fucking chuck all the shit we have in a big bowl, mix it up and see what happens. I think we've all been there, lads. We've all made our own death mix concoction at one point.
I've definitely been a party where there was a bath.
Yeah.
Right.
The origin of bathtub gin. They used to make it like that.
I've seen an episode of Bonham where they have a bath with the cocktail, and they put cups in it, but they keep melting. The cups keep melting. So
I like I don't know if any of you watched the show, The Last Man on Earth.
I watched a few episodes.
Will Forte,
It's worth watching. But he does this whole thing. He's always got a paddling pool full of margarita. He just sits in it with a straw.
That's good.
So, you're going to vote for the big cocktail then?
I think I'm going to go with a big cocktail as well. Yeah, it seems more plausible.
So,
I'd say.
I think the punch bowl thing.
The punch bowl?
Yeah.
So it's punch bowl.
2 punch bowls.
It's true. That is true.
I would say.
Truth story?
I think that the cocktail's true and the punch bowl's a lie.
So you think the punch bowl's the lie?
Yeah.
Thomas, do you think the punch bowl's the truth?
I would say the punch bowl's true. Yeah.
I'll go for the cocktail being true.
The cocktails,
and
that's
the
2 votes for the
punch
cocktail,
bowl
1
being
for
a
the
lie.
punch. Eliott, can you please tell us what is the drunken lie and what is the sober truth?
Well, I can confirm the entire affair and story of Betsy Flanagan and her chicken stealing cocktails is in fact all cobblers. That is a complete lie, which does mean that Admiral Edward Russell did indeed make an entire garden punch bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
I called it, see? Any old shit just chucked in a bowl, plausible.
That's one of my
The idea
favourite.
of cross relations between countries, not so much.
That is one of my favourite stories. That one actually with the giant punch bowl thing. I genuinely was like, this guy is a fucking legend. There we go. So I think we've thoroughly worked out what it is. I think Thomas was the complete winner on that one. So you get the points.
Done,
well
Thomas.
done.
Thank you very much.
Always the points.
So as we move on to the final round, it's finish the alcohol quote. So we'll just crack straight away with always do sober what you say you'll do drunk. That will teach you.
Nailing your foreskin to a ferret is a very bad idea.
Thank you, Eliott.
Oh my.
Always do sober what you say you'll do drunk. That will teach you.
How to climb scaffolding safely. I think I've said it before, but it's still fucking best true.
Always do sober what you say you'll do drunk. That will teach you.
I think that it works as that, but if you use a different inflection, always do sober what you said you do drunk. That'll teach you.
All right.
That'll fucking teach you.
Very Scottish answer there. Always do sober what you say you'll do drunk. That will teach you.
You cunt.
It's actually
Very
always
Northern
do
Irish.
that's very Northern Irish
Yeah.
there. Always do sober what you say you'll do drunk. That will teach you to keep your mouth shut. And that was Ernest Hemingway. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. In wine there is wisdom, in beer there is freedom, in water there is.
A designated driver.
He would drown. In wine there is wisdom, in beer there is freedom, in water there is.
Lime scale.
In wine there is wisdom, in beer there is freedom, in water there is.
Disappointment.
Disappointment. In wine there is wisdom, in beer there is freedom, in water there is.
My balls.
Fuck you getting up.
Just drawn from my experience.
It was in wine there is
Bag in
wisdom,
the
in
meat
beer.
Dunk him in.
In the pub. Just
Yeah.
plop-
Just you swanning about your house, sticking your balls in all the water.
In wine there is wisdom, in beer there is freedom, in water there is bacteria. That was Benjamin Franklin. Okay, we'll move on. I cook with wine sometimes.
I marinate myself.
I cook with wine sometimes. I.
Consider renaming my wife.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I cook with wine sometimes. I.
Need to put toilet paper in the fridge. I think we've all done that.
Yeah,
It's
I've done that.
just a nice comfort.
Yeah.
No, I think I've done it.
No, a certain curry with too many green chilies. Toilet paper in the fridge. Yeah.
I might
So
try
I
it,
cook with
actually.
wine sometimes. I.
Have dark thoughts.
So I cook with wine sometimes. I even add it to food. That was W.C. Fields. So alcohol may be man's worst enemy, but
I'd choose it over man's best friend.
alcohol may be man's worst enemy, but
Dick Cheney made money off the Iraq War.
Right.
Factually accurate.
So it's all false.
That's not okay. Not fair enough. Alcohol may be man's worst enemy, but
You obviously haven't met my ex-wife.
alcohol may be man's worst enemy, but
Skeletor is He-Man's worst enemy. I don't know. I've got nothing. Sorry, mate.
Calling them out. Yeah.
it's alcohol may be man's worst enemy, but the Bible says love your enemy, and that was Frank Sinatra. Okay. Right, so an intelligent man is sometimes forced to be
On a Monday evening podcast.
an intelligent man is sometimes forced to be
Someone who wishes they weren't in the Monday evening podcast.
fuck you guys. An intelligent man is sometimes forced to be
Hanged in a prison cell to protect a prince.
Whoa.
Totally unrelated to alcohol, just the forced bit.
an intelligent man is sometimes forced to be
In a red raw green room.
Hey.
so an intelligent man is sometimes forced to be drunk so he can spend time with fools. That was Ernest Hemingway. It's the last one, we can do it. I don't have a drinking problem except
Wheat nueve dis.
That was too highbrow for me, so
I don't have a drinking problem except
I fucking figured it out. I figured my problem out. That's what I'm
was that you
getting
tried
at.
to do a Scottish
That
voice?
was, yeah, only 3
Oh,
years, and
your-
that's the best I can do,
Your
gents.
Scottish
Sorry.
accent is better than mine.
Thanks,
I'll
Paul.
see if I can deliver this in a Welsh accent.
Please do. I would love to hear your Indian accent.
Just to repay that
Yeah.
cultural slant.
I don't have a drinking problem except
I've been fucking sheeps all day, boy. It's just one of those Welsh phrases.
It is indeed linked with Mumbai, apparently. Cracking.
I can't believe it. One time I did do a Welsh accent by accident, and it turned out that if I did like Tom Jones, I was doing the Monday night improv at the stand, and they'd said I had to be a Welsh Madonna. I was the bit where they do you a guest,
Express yourself.
and I just kept on going. Oh, what was it I was saying? I was going to go to the bingo, so I decided to go to the Vogue.
The Vogue.
The Vogue.
The Vogue.
I've gone to a bingo.
Strike the pose, there's nothing to it.
Lovely boy.
Boy-o.
Burning down the house.
All that. Yeah, oh, that's cracking, boys.
Yeah.
so I don't have a drinking problem except
Cis is blood poisoning.
blood poison. As I don't have a drinking problem except when I can't get drunk. That was Tom Waits.
Can you do
Well,
Tom
we've done
Waits?
it.
Who's Tom Waits?
Tom, wow.
Yeah.
Is
Who's
he
Tom
for the
Waits?
WC Field?
He was a
He's
vaudeville
a-
actor.
He's a wrestler.
He was in.
a wrestler.
Yeah, Tom Waits.
So that's us.
Table
We've
man.
actually made it to
Yeah.
the end. So Eliott.
Last call for alcohol.
So the bell has rung and the doors have closed. Now it's time to go over to Eliott and find out who gets the drinks bill.
Yes, baby, it's cold outside, but you really can't stay. Based on the monthly recommended amount of alcohol intake, players are ranked out of a total of 90 units. After this month's tippling travesty, our king consumer is Paul McDaniel with a total of 75. In second place is Thomas Craven with 61. And in last place, picking up the bill, is the intoxicated ignoramus John Gavin with 40.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, please like, share and subscribe. Taking part in this month in drinking history was Paul McDaniel, John Gavin and Thomas Craven. The questions were attempted to be asked by me, Ian TC, and keeping an eye on the bar tab was Eliott Simpson. Remember, this is just a bit of fun. Please always drink responsibly, and if you have any problems with alcohol, please go to the website drinkaware.co.uk. This podcast was sponsored by the Comedian Tattoo, and you can find out more about comedy events on the website goodtattoos.com/comedy.
Cheers!